Greetings, my friends. It is time for a more serious video overview and review of the Jedi Knight and Sith Warrior changes. I'm going to split those, of course, because the first video dealing with Sith Marauder and Jedi Sentinel will be more detailed. That's my main class, and there will be more personal opinion, suggestion, and analysis. The second video will be about the Guardian and the Juggernaut, and it will be more like an overview of what's coming. I will be showing you what's currently in the game, how it will be changed, and I will leave you with a few of my comments, why these things are changing, do I like them, and so on. Let's begin. The first one, I will be using the same article posted on my website, but the changes and the text is absolutely the same. It's absolutely up to you to prefer where you want to read them. Of course, on the official website, it's always first released, and then all of us players and website owners and all kinds of other SWTOR related people start copying this. Let's begin. BioWare published a blog with the Jedi Knight and Sith Warrior changes in SWTOR Patch 4.0. Here comes. General, class and combat changes. Utility grant levels. Now you get utility choice points at the following levels to prevent excessive power inflation with each expansion and to assure a choice was present at level 65. So there are some shuffles. We don't get completely new abilities. We don't get many of the abilities removed. I will tell you in details which one is moved, why and where. For tier 1 of the utilities, we will get one at 17, second one at 25, third one at 33. A quick comparison shows that we get one at 11, 19 and 27 at the moment. The next one is level 35 and we're stepping into tier 2 now. Tier 2 will be granted at 41 and 49, up from 35 and 43. There are the 35 and 43. BioWare is just changing at which level we receive what kind of points. So these abilities, they are all passives here with an exception of the orange, green ones. But they will be shuffled a little bit because BioWare believes that it will be more balanced throughout the leveling process. Kind of pointless change, really. Tier 3, the best tier, will be at level 57 and 65 because currently we get one at level 51 and one at level 60 because now we will have 5 more levels. We will be getting the last utility point at level 60. If you do the calculation correct, you will see that indeed, as it was mined already in the mined information, if you have been curious enough to take a look, we have 3 tier 1, 2 tier 2 and 2 tier 3. So this is 7 utility points in total. Disciplines active ability grant levels. Here comes the more fun part. Starting at level 10, you will get a new discipline-specific active ability every 16 levels. The only change compared to patch 3.0 is that you will get your third ability at level 42 instead of 41, and your fourth ability at level 58 instead of 57. This is again rebalancing, so BioWare can count it easily. Equal amount of levels between each change. There it is. The first active ability with a green background is at level 10. The second one is 16 levels later at 26. The third one is now at 41. It will be moved to level 42. Little to no change whatsoever. And the last active ability will be granted at level 58 because they want to have 16 levels between each one of them. I don't see a point. One level sooner or one level later, it doesn't make much of a change. In gameplay at least. Next we go to the discipline passive ability grant levels. These now happen every 4 levels, beginning at level 12. The only change compared to 3.0 is that instead of getting a level 59 passive skill, you will get one at level 60 and the new passive at level 64. Again, all of these passives are, pay attention, 12, 16, 20 and each 4 levels until the very end, because here we have 59. We will be getting this, as the text says, at level 60, and then at 64 we will get a new one. Let's go into the even more fun part, because now we will inspect the changes to Sith Warrior and Jedi Knight. There is going to be a new active ability, Mad Dash or Blade Blitz, depending on whether you're playing Marauder or a Sentinel. The description: dash forward 20 meters, dealing weapon damage to enemies in your path and increasing your defense chance by 100% while dashing. So you will be immune to damage while you're doing this. Cannot be used while immobilized or hindered. It has a 45-second cooldown and can be attained at level 61. This is our new ability. Remember, when we started leveling in the previous expansions, we always got the new ability one level after the expansion. So there was a new ability at level 51. It is for the Marauder dual saber throw. And then at level 57, we've got an upgrade, because from level 55 to level 60, we didn't really get a brand new ability, at least for the Sith Warrior and Jedi Knight class. Some other classes had some other difficult kind of, different kind of upgrades, but we'll only talk here about the Warrior and the Knight. Dash, if you can imagine something like, it's probably a very popular ability in other games, I can only imagine that, but Dash is something like a speed run 20 meters forward like this, but much, much faster, and while doing this, you will be immune. So this is another gap closer, just like Force Leap or what was the name of the Empire version? Force Charge, of course. It's just another gap closer ability, very nice, and later on you will see, when I keep reading the text, that there is a very nice tier 3 utility, brand new utility, that will grant us some other features and bonuses. Next, Master Strike has been renamed to Blade Dance. For the Marauder, the name is remaining the same because it's Ravage. Here is the reason BioWare is doing this. The Jedi Knight's Master Strike ability has been renamed Blade Dance because Suresu form reduces the focus gained by strike abilities. Strike, Sundering Strike, and Warding Strike, but Master Strike does not generate or cost focus, so its name is out of place with the convention of the rest of the class. No change needs to be made to Sith Warrior who gain Rage with Assault abilities, as Ravage does not contain the word Assault. I hope you got that. It's kind of a weird texting, weird wording, but because the name doesn't have an assault in it, we shouldn't be concerned and confused if this is affected. We always knew it's not, but for a new player, it might be a little bit more confusing. Specific changes to the Marauder Sentinel for Annihilation and Watchman. This is the dot spec. We are getting a new passive skill called Devious Wounds or Smoldering Burns. Annihilate and Merciless Slash makes your bleeds or burns deal 10% more damage for 3 seconds after you activate it. Percentage and duration are subject to change, so we know what the ability will do basically, but we can't claim that we know that 10% will remain set in stone because this is still up for testing. And just in case you don't know, Annihilate and Merciless Slash makes your bleed, burn, and bleed 10% more for the next 3 seconds. For the Annihilation spec, Annihilate is granted at the moment at level 41. It will be granted at level 42 after the expansion, minimal change, but this is one of the most spammable abilities. You have to keep this pretty much on cooldown, so the fact that it gains another passive boost is really very welcome. Annihilate and Merciless Slash are now trained at level 42, up from 41. I've just mentioned that, damn it. Force Rend, Force Melt are now trained at level 58 instead of 57. This is again just mentioned above because BioWare wants to train these every 16 levels, so Force Rend will be available to us at level 58, who cares. Swift Demise, Accelerating Victory are now trained at level 60, up from 59. 59 is this Swift Demise. It still is a very cool buff. Dual Form and Annihilator build 2 stacks at a time. Annihilate also builds up 2 Swift Demise stacks, reducing the rage consumed by the next Force Rend by 1 per stack. If you don't know this, and if you need more information, the abilities for the moment are still the same, so you can go and check out my 3-2-1 video guide about the Sentinel and Marauder, specifically about heavy note on the Annihilation in the guide. My guide about Carnage in combat is pretty much the same old one from the beginning of 3.0 because not much or not anything has been changed, except that the utilities were a little bit altered with 3.2.1, but I talk a lot about utilities in the guide for the Watchman Annihilation, so you can pretty much get a full detailed picture from all of these things. The next, we go to Carnage in Combat. New passive skill, Bloody Slashes and Burning Slices. Ravage Blade Dance stacks a bleed or burn in the target. It stacks up to 3 times. Each time Ravage or Blade Dance deals damage, it will add a new stack to the bleed and burn. Deals damage when applied each time a stack is added, and every 3 seconds for 9 seconds after Ravage Blade Dance finishes adding stacks. There is another nice passive boost with a stacking possibility for a shorter duration of a dot attached to Ravage. This is a passive boost. We don't have to do anything to earn it except reach the appropriate level. And the appropriate level has not been mentioned, really. It should be 61. Never mind, I don't want to go into details because this may still change. The important part is that we get a little bit of a boost on Ravage, which we don't really need. I would hate to have a dot attached to my burst spec. Annihilation and Watchman are already very heavy on dots, and I don't see a point adding a dot. This looks to me a little bit like simplifying the Ravage to the same ability on the Juggernaut side and Master Strike to the same ability on the Guardian Strike. They do have a lot of dots there in their burst spec. So I don't know, I'm getting a little bit confused, and I desperately want this to be removed. If they want to boost Master Strike and Ravage, do it in another way. That's my personal opinion before I have tried it. Remember, this is just a preview. Gore Precision is now trained at level 42, up from 41, again for the same reason. If we jump to the Carnage tree, we will see that it's level 41 because it's not 16 levels up from 26. They want to move it around, that's fine. Devastating Blast and Clashing Blast is now trained at level 58 instead of 57. That's the ability. So far, it's not changed. None of these abilities will be changed or altered, except that maybe with gear, of course, your damage will scale up, unless there is another diminishing return brought to us at level 61, because we witnessed something similar, if you remember, at level 51. All of our stats went down as soon as we leveled with the first level of the HUD's expansion. Sever and Saberstorm is now trained at level 60, up from 59. This is Sever. Increase the critical strike damage bonus of Massacre and Devastating Blast by 30%. Very powerful boost. For the Fury and Concentration, we have a new passive skill, Furious Rage and Centered Focus. Furious Strike and Concentrated Strike, Concentrated Slice, of course, make your next Raging Burst, Focused Burst, or Smash and Force Sweep deal 15% more critical damage. Another passive boost attached to some of our main used and most used abilities is a very welcome change. Force Crush and Force Exhaustion is now granted at level 42 instead of 41. Let me just show you quickly, of course, because these are the same abilities. They are just like the other abilities moved one level later, from 41 to 42 and from 57 to 58. I hope that you can use the highest resolution in the video and read the descriptions for yourself, because I'm not reading them all the time. The other abilities I've mentioned already. Furious Defense and Concentrated Defense is now trained at level 60 instead of level 59. It's wrong to say trained, because unless BioWare changes this, it's not trained, it's automatically received. You don't have to go to a trainer anymore to receive it. Let's see what happens with the utility section. In Tier 1 Skillful, this is the top one, we will have a new utility called, that's a hard name, Unflinching Determination. Wow. And for the other side, Unwavering Resolve. Saber Ward will grant immunity to stunts and incapacitating effects, fear, sleep, blind, etc., etc., for 6 seconds after you activate it. Remember, Saber Ward is one of our most useful defensive ability. The sad part is that it has a fairly long cooldown. 3 minutes is a very long time, and in PvE environment you can probably use that once or maybe twice before the boss drops down. In some boss encounters that are definitely longer, like Revan, Styrak, and so on, you could use it obviously multiple times, but no more than 3 or 4. It is still a useful utility, and it's extremely useful in PvP, although again with the 3-minute cooldown it's a little bit situational and you have to be careful what you're using. For Tier 2 Masterful, we get another new utility, Thirst of Rage or inspired focus. Bloodthirst, inspiration. Bloodthirst is the Marauder version, inspiration is the Sentinel version. Again, if you're getting confused, this is the same ability with its different names for the mirror classes. This ability is instantly granting us 12 rage or 12 focus when it's used. Very powerful utility. I'm thinking straight out of the box that it's more focused at PvP because it's very, very situational to make a full use of this utility point in PvE environment. But again, it is up to testing. We haven't seen how BioWare is going to adapt and change the upcoming scaled up operations. We have, memory serves me well, 9 operations to be scaled from level 50, 55 and 60 up to 65. 9 operations is plenty of opportunities for BioWare to implement some uses for these new changes. And for tier 3 heroic, we have another new utility. Remember I told you about this before? Through victory or cut losses, Mad Dash and Blade Blitz, the new ability, can be used while immobilized and purges immobilization and slow effects when activated. Scrolling back up to the abilities, and we see that the new ability granted to us at level 61, Blade Blitz and Dash and Mad Dash, will leap forward, move us forward, but it cannot by default be used, to remember, while immobilized or hindered. And with this utility point in the tier 3 section, you will be allowed to do that, and even more, any immobilization effect or CC on you will be purged. I don't know if it's really any and 100% everything, but it's up to testing, I suppose. That's it. I hope that you had enough overview, and my opinion so far, without having a chance to test it, is that the changes are interesting. Unlike other times, for this one, I really enjoyed the new ability, even though it's nothing out of the box. It's very simple and very, it's true I don't play other games, but to me it sounds like a very stereotype ability for a melee DPS class. It's a good gap closer, very useful, hopefully. Although with a 45-second cooldown, it might be fun, and it doesn't say that it replaces any of the other abilities, so you can imagine with concentration that brings us to 3 gap closing abilities. Quite interesting, right? Or if we talk with the Fury terms for the Marauder, we will have 3 different gap closers in the name of Obliterate, the new Mad Dash, and of course the Force Charge. They all have different cooldowns, which means we can very nice manage them and use them in different times. That really wraps up my overview and preview of the Sith Marauder and Jedi Sentinel changes. If there is something new, be sure that it will pop up in another video or as annotations on this one. So far, that's everything for me. I hope that you will check all the other videos. For now, this is the first. The second one will be overview of the Juggernaut and the Guardian changes. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time. Bye bye. Remember, you can find me also on Twitch, Twitter and Facebook. For my non-Star Wars activities, I invite you to subscribe to my second YouTube channel.